to throw the landing page, but like, you guys have received, sorry, maybe let's go through the landing page. Let's just log out just to make sure everyone has seen the same thing. So at the moment, this is a web application so that you can access from this URL. This will also, we are working with Microsoft to make it also downloadable from the Microsoft store. But at the moment, you can only access it from this URL. Yeah, as Sanjay and John explained before, really the big, I would say one of the big takeaway of the maturity assessment, this is to be able to measure and benchmark against other organizations. And you will see that part of the demo, how we are offering some functionalities to help your client benchmark against other organizations in the field. If you go down, Issam, just very quickly, it's just summarize the different, sorry, just go up a little bit. If you just look at the different dimension, just go through the different dimension that Professor Sanjay has defined part of his model. So the analysis of the work is organized around this 8 dimension. And then going down, it explains the different type of contracts that you can get. And there is a free access for everyone with very limited functionalities, access for ILSSI members for free, as John said, and for premium users, there are additional capabilities as well with AI analysis, AI generation of action plans, etc., etc. And so we are going to show you some of that. And if you go down, Issam, yeah, sorry, perfect. So now this has been refreshed. Sorry, and if we go down on that all the way, yeah, and of course, this has been a work done in partnership between ILSSI, Professor Sanjay, and us. So now, Issam, if you connect to the premium one, just to show, so for everyone that is going to connect, you will arrive to a dashboard. And from this dashboard, you will be able to start and take a new assessment. So if you arrive there for the first time, everything is going to be empty there. You will see your dashboard, but you will have no data. But the first things, of course, this is to be able to record data. And so if we start the new assessment here, Issam, so you will arrive to a section where you choose the company name to whom you do this assessment. You just can create a new one or select, just select one, whatever you prefer. You can then select a team name. Let's imagine you are in an organization and you will do this assessment for several teams. So you can write down the name of each of these teams and benchmark them potentially internally. And choose the sector in which this company is. And this is useful for benchmarking purpose because then when you will see when we offer the benchmarking opportunities, it makes sense to look at the sector at which your company is in. And from there, you start the 96 questions that are part of the OPEX Maturity Assessment. So here at the moment, there is only one model. This is the model only of Professor Sanjay. There is the 96 questions. Realistically, a company could do it on their own, but this is very heavy, let's say, to go through 96 questions on their own. They might not answer properly. And this is where the ILSSI community comes handy and where you can sell your additional consulting services because you can help them make sense of these questions, ask for proof of the different scoring and making sure altogether that those scores are relevant and accurate. And one way to do it could be that you do the first one with them. Let's imagine you can charge whatever you want on it, but let's imagine you charge £1,000 for an assessment. Once you have done your assessment, you could tell them, okay, on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis, continue doing those assessments on your own. And maybe 6 months after, you could charge another assessment again with your expert eyes to make sure that what they have audited themselves against is right, that if they say that they are fully embedded on these questions or on this tool, this is really the case.
Quick question,
Over
Frederic.
time, sorry, go ahead.
Quick question. What does BAU stand for? You said fully embedded and BAU. What is BAU?
It's business as usual. So yeah, I mean, it's business as usual. So for the team, so it's really fully embedded part of their day-to-day operations.
Okay, you might get more questions about that because I've never seen the acronym before.
I mean, it's good. It's a very good feedback, and for everyone, I believe that this is very important. So this is in beta. You are the first guy to test it, and so we really welcome your feedback. We'll probably add a section there for feedback. So when you go through it, so we can add
Good.
anything that will be unclear. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. So the first step, if I may summarize, is to get your client to agree to sit down with you, go through these 96 questions, have the right people in the room to answer them, be honest about the organization, and then it's the next step, which is the analysis of the questions, the analysis of the answers, and the analysis tools. Have you got, Frederic, a display that shows an example dashboard?
Yeah, of course. So like, yeah, once you have gone through these 96 questions, then you are in a position to analyze all of these results. And on just what I was showing earlier, so again, this is an MVP, a first version of the product. Over time, we could improve that. We could add additional information, maybe an AI tool that gives additional clarity for each questions. But once you have done all of that, you arrive to your dashboard. The first part of the dashboard is exactly the same visual that Professor Sanjay had in his Excel document. So this is a spider chart where you can see where you are on each of the different dimension. Now, where it becomes interesting, this is that, of course, in the back of these tools, we have a huge database with all the different companies that have taken those assessments, and then we can start benchmarking those data. And we can start benchmarking it. If we start first internally, Issam first. So let's start first with the internal comparison. So again, here we had a section for the different team. So straight away, you could choose, I have my team 1 and team 2. So let's start, yeah, the team. So you could choose, okay, my IT teams and my team A. And so very quickly, let's say to a management team, you could explain, actually, we have benchmarked this many different teams. This is where this team is strong at. This is where this team has some weaknesses. Therefore, these are the action plans that I would recommend to share best practices, etc., etc. Now you could look at it internally, and sorry, when we say internally, again, in terms of, so if you click on internal comparison companies, Issam, again, like over time, we might want to change that slightly. I mean, to make, like maybe the wording clearer. But it might be that you specifically or an organization has different organization. So let's imagine, you are like a big bank. Let's imagine you are UBS and you want to have like your organization, UBS Switzerland. You have also like, UBS in the UK. You want to benchmark them. So not at the team level, but let's say at the organization level, you are also, like able to do those type of benchmarking. And then you will have this external comparison that there are sector driven. So again, so here, if I continue with the example of UBS, let's imagine you are UBS and you want to benchmark yourself against, I don't have the example there, unfortunately, but with the financial services or with the banking space in the sector, we have a sector for that. Straight away, you can be like, actually, out of all the maturity assessments that have been done, this is where we sit. We are ahead on this dimension, or we are behind that, etc., etc. And of course, therefore, these tools becomes even more powerful if we have a lot of data in the background, a lot of people using the maturity assessments, because this is offering more benefits for the end users to benchmark themselves.
Frederic, can I ask a question there? You
Yeah.
said where you're making the comparisons between different industries.
Yeah.
If you went into a company, did an assessment, worked with them for 3 months, can you put the two audits from the initial audit and when you did it again 3 months, so you can show the improvement?
Of course you can. And actually, thanks a lot, John, because this is a good transition for the next one. So if you click on evolution. So in addition to that, like, yeah, what is very interesting, you're right, John, this is then seeing the improvement over time for this specific company or like, their different team. And like, yeah, and ultimately, this is not there right now, but it's something that we have in our backlog. We also would like to be able to show when you, let's say, as an expert, has done the assessment and when they did it on their own. Just to say, like, you have like, this was originally done by John in Feb. Then March, April, May, it was done by you guys, and we have the score in June. And maybe, in June it goes down actually, because when the expert does it, is not as nice as maybe what they would have been on their own, like, for instance, but like, yeah, definitely, we have started with putting there to be able to see the time evolution. And if you click on detail, so the last section, you can see every single score that have been taken for this company, for the different teams, every single date, every single results, etc., etc.
The thing for me most important about this, if you as a trainer, OPEX expert, you'd be open and honest. I wouldn't let companies do this themselves, because the scoring would be, we know what senior executives have liked. They'll be a bit more generous. Is it 3? Is it? I'll put it as a 4 because I think it's better. So they might assess themselves better than they are. That's for me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You raised a very good, sorry, Fred, you raised a very good point, John, and absolutely, this is an excellent now where Frederic has taken it. But don't ever forget the basics. You've got to get a representative sample of the company to get an honest view where the company is. So when I road tested this, when I went to some companies and I just interviewed the senior leadership, guess what? They scored culture and leadership 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Then when I went to the shop floor, they were scoring in 1 out of 5, saying, no, they never listened to us. They treat us really badly. The level of communication. So what I would recommend is, I've always gone for stratified sampling. So most of you will know what I mean. So when I say stratified sampling is, if you go into an organization, getting off men, women, different age groups, different scales, different seniorities. So then you're getting a representative sample, either of a department or a company. So you raise a very good point then, really, John, in that respect. Sometimes the basics will have to take on board,
Yeah.
In terms of scoring, this is very similar to the Bowden lean diagnostic we were using back in the 90s. The most important part is not necessarily the scores, but the action items coming from it, from each of the elements and sub-elements. It's like value stream mapping. You get a big picture of the organization, and then you define what are the next steps to move forward. I think it's the same with this one as well. For each of the scores, there is recommended actions to take it up a notch.
Mm-hmm.
It is, Adam, and if a company scores really badly in culture, don't expect in 3-6 months' time them to have moved up, because culture would. So sometimes, as a consultant, my advice would be, you're all trained practitioners. I would say align expectations of the company as well. They might be able to do something the way OPEX is measured. They might be able to do the way they recruit leaders. They might be able to do something about stakeholder management, but be quite clear with them. Listen, some things, guys, will take longer. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for all of those nice nuggets, Sanjay. And on the back of that, I believe you're right. Like this segmentation, stratification between exec, team leader, team members, we really need to add that. And this is something that, in the spider charts, we are going to add, because I believe that this is definitely something when we present to companies that we will want to show, because every single time we are going to see that, this is what you guys believe you are. This is what you people say you are. And just to make everyone, let's say, understand that, Okay, so now, and thanks a lot. Thanks also, Adam, for the nice transition, because what we are going to show you now, this is how we are adding AI into that. And again, so like I don't have the technical skills of Issam, but Issam has a double PhD in AI and machine learning. So thanks to Issam, we are able to do some very interesting things that, of course, we can improve over time. And the first thing, this is the analysis of this maturity assessment. if you are not an expert like the people around this table, and maybe that you might struggle, let's say, to analyze and read your data, we have built an AI tool that just does that. So you can choose your team or your company, and you will just ask that to generate a summary for you. And so on the right-hand side, this is going to generate a summary of your results, the latest results based on what you have chosen. So this is point one, then point two, and once we have the summary generated, I'm going to show point two. On point two, this is also generating for you an action plan. Like everything AI generated, we need to take it, let's say, with a bit of caution. It's just like, when you talk with ChatGPT, it's not everything might be 100% accurate. I mean, the data, the number are going to be accurate. Then in terms of strengths, maybe, area for improvement, the actions plans that it generates, you as expert might be like, yeah, it's a good start. However, I want to go further than that. I want to add this and this and this and this and this. And the AI is never going to be, let's say, as strong as what you will have seen, because, those 96 questions, there are 96 questions. They are very good, but these are 96 questions. Outside of that, you will have worked with the team, you will have seen some documents. So you will have, let's say, a more precise view of potential, let's say, action plans that the model will not have. And this is where you can add all of that. So this has generated this summary for us. Then Issam, if you click on your AI action plan, you can then generate an action plan. So again, you choose the same things that you have selected. You generate your AI action plan. This is going to generate an action plan in your OPEX maturity dashboard. But in addition to that, what is interesting for, let's say, bigger companies that are using Microsoft, this is also transferring all of this action plan in Microsoft Planner. So all of these actions that have been generated, there is also a link in the background with Microsoft Planner. And this is because at the start, I don't know if you have seen, but when Issam connected, he connected saying with his Microsoft account. In the back, this is transferring everything in Microsoft Planner, and then the team can monitor that in Microsoft Planner with the rest of the company and make sure that all of these different actions that have been agreed are being followed through. And of course, you, as a consultant, you cannot add directly action at the moment in the maturity assessment, but you can add them in Planner. Just like, in Planner, you can work with the team and add them, let's say, detail their action plan, go to the next level, etc., etc.
Very nice, very powerful, and assisting the ILSSI community with a tool that is very valuable for their clients. And I think they can go in to a meeting and present this and actually get a lot of credibility from it, being associated with it, being one of the founders. In fact, everybody on this call and the people that attended Frederic's live demo in Jersey, etc. We are the founders of this tool. Well, the founding group, obviously, Sanjay is the founder, and it's very exciting. We've had the pleasure of Sanjay, Frederic, and Issam's company today. I don't want to abuse their time. I would just like to take now 5 or 10 minutes, going on to 10:15, for any questions and answers. And as I say, my main focus right now is to educate the ILSSI community of the potential of this tool, to put it in their hands, and the potential to use it as a revenue generator for trainers and consultants. It's got many other areas that need developing. My particular goal is the commercial aspect for ILSSI partners, not for ILSSI, but for you as trainers and consultants.
So I got a quick question.
Go on, Adam.
The question is, you've got some great output from it. For example, use Hoshin Kanri for leadership direction. What I would perhaps suggest is that for each of the recommended actions that are tool-based or action-based, you have a list of people on the ILSS kind of grouping that are capable of delivering those tools, because it may be something that you're not, a specialist in. You might want to tap on someone's shoulder to come help as well.
Yeah, I believe this is a great point. So like this is something that we would like to include at some point as well. Let's say directly the contact of the different ILSSI member community directly from the website, or once someone has taken an assessment. Again, this tool is open, which means that you could have a company going directly there, taking the assessment, and it might be then that they're like, okay, how do we take the action plan forward? And potentially, one of the next steps could be like, oh, wow, like directly from the tool, I have the list of the 90 ILSSI partners. I'm in the UK. I see that in the UK, I have like 5 partners. These are those guys, and I can select one of them, for instance, or contact them from the tool, or whatever we imagine.
Good point.
Or it might be that if it lists various people for it, each of them can collaborate together with the one client and then work out what's the best solution for them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So maybe some people might not be available, so etc. etc. So like, but yeah, so like making the link exactly as you suggested between the assessment, and then maybe I want someone to help me having a better assessment because I did that on my own and I was not sure, and then how do I take that forward?
Okay. So, simple one for the ILSSI, John. How do you sign up as an ILSSI member? Because you know me, this morning before the call, I launched it, signed up using my email, and I've got welcome user, standard user, but that's not an ILSSI link, is it? Because it says upgrade to premium and the cost. So what mechanism does an ILSSI member use?
So so in the database, we are in the process of adding everyone from ILSSI with your name and the email address that you have given to ILSSI.
Okay.
When we have that, this is going to be automated. The system is directly going to recognize, it's going to say, oh, it's john.rooney@gmail.com. This is the same email address, and this is going to transfer you directly into the ILSSI membership. But at the moment, we haven't added that. So what we do at the moment, this is manually. Issam is getting a notification each time that someone is joining the platform. And if this is an ILSSI member, we will do that manually. So this is what we'll be doing over this week. But hopefully, let's say by the end of this week, we will have the full list of ILSSI members in the database, and this will be automated.
I also think, John, as ILSSI members, we should take the opportunity to do it and highlight any questions that don't make sense to us.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a harm to do the 96 questions and just say, question 23, what do you mean by that? Because if we don't understand it, I doubt whether a client would. So I may do that today. If I get a chance today, I'll do it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, this is great, and thanks a lot for doing that. I mean, this is true for the questions, but this is also true for the tool. So this is the reason why as well, let's say, we are bringing it first to the ILSSI community in order to test it properly, making sure everything works, etc., that you can only see your companies, all of these type of things. So, yeah, by no means, the more it can be tested, the better it is.
Okay.
Thank you. And would we like a forum of some sort to do that rather than doing it by email? Would it be better to have a OPEX Maturity Matrix group of some form, some sort of forum?
Yeah, wouldn't be a bad idea. I think what you could do, Frederic, maybe today, you've got all our email addresses. If you can make us so we're ILSSI member link over a period of time, I intend to do it and go through every question, and anything that doesn't make sense to me, we should raise, as John said, through a forum. So, because we all might get to question 47, and what does it mean? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Until I look at it, I don't know. You've got to have a mechanism of feedback. That's what John said.
Sure. Yeah, I will share something with the community to collect feedback. And so, like, when you do it, you have like a place to write it down and you remember your feedback. And in addition to that, as John suggested, we'll also set up a follow-up call with the community. Let's say first, this meeting, it was like just an hour ago, so it was difficult, let's say, for everyone to get organized and join. And John, sorry. We will probably do another launch one with the rest of the community in a couple of weeks or beginning of September if this is a bit difficult for with the holiday. Just to make sure that everyone has a chance to do that. And then we'll put some feedback session with everyone on a weekly basis if we believe that makes sense. And potentially as well separately, because John, like for instance, once I've seen that you have provided your feedback, maybe we put a form together when we ask you if you don't mind to contact you, and we might do that in one-to-one as well, because sometimes when people have specific feedback, it's a bit easier to discuss rather than in a big group where not everyone might be interested in the same feedback. And in the monthly call or weekly call, we can bring the different theme just to give an update. So like for instance, we had 10 people that told us that question 47 was not clear, so this is what we did, etc., etc. Now going forward, you should see that. This is what we have in the backlog. Back on Sanjay feedback, we have added the breakdown between depending on the seniority level, etc., etc.
Okay.
Very good. Well,
and where that would, sorry, John, where that would be really useful as well, guys, is there's more research going in this area, Frederic. In 2 years' time, we may go back and change some of the question dimensions anyway, because that's what the research is telling us what we should be doing now. So that makes it fluid and relevant forever then. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And so as you said, we should have a lot. Hopefully, we will have a number of data on the back of that, and probably we can discuss on a mechanism to make that available for yourself and for the Buckingham University to do additional research over time. Maybe these are some things that. Just in 1 year, at least, we can present. Now we have like a bigger number, a bigger volume in terms of sector by sector, where we are in terms of maturity level, maybe in terms of geography as well. And there are some learnings that could be of interest for Buckingham University, but I'm sure as well, in the bigger academic space.
Very good. I'm convinced that once we see this being successfully used by 1 or 2 or 3 of our partners, success will breed success. We'll have case studies from people we know. I'm going to try to get Amy Swinburne and Vince McSkimmings to use it at Renolit. We both know they are part of the community. Jennifer Taylor, who was at the conference at PD Ports, she is an OPEX lead there. If I can go there and show them how to use it. Anybody that's got a client that they've got a good relationship with and they want to offer it as a free demo and try to use it, that would be great. And then you're going to start to use it with clients as a paid service, right? We don't know who it'll be. It might be Patrick Adams. It might be Anita. It might be Patricia Esno in France. We don't know, but one of these partners, John Rooney, that is going to have great success with it and actually use it as part of their offerings and as a revenue source. Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Frederic, Issam, and Sanjay for your time. That was fantastic. And thank you, Stephen, John, Adam, for joining us. And Anita, I think, had to leave. But it was great to see you all. And we will plan another session very soon.